FM News Talk 97.1. On-demand audio.
Right now, we welcome in our guest from the Show Me Institute. Michael Highsmith is our guest. Michael, how are you?
Fantastic, Mark. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Everybody's heard of Centene. You can see their sign out there off Highway 40, I know, in Chesterfield, and they've got other locations. They are one of the largest managed care providers in the United States of America. How did they end up on the radar of the Show Me Institute?
Well, so actually, just to go off of that, not even one of the largest. As of now, they are the largest managed care organization inside of the entire nation.
Mm-hmm.
They recently gained another 8,000-something employees when they acquired HealthNet over in California. And for those who don't know, their current headquarters is in Clayton. And as Clayton's in Missouri, we've obviously been focusing in on it. And it looks like they're looking, 6 years ago they had an expansion with their tax incentives for this headquarters, and it looks like they're trying to repeat this again, but on a much larger scale now. So basically this expansion that they're looking for is they want to move the area along Forsyth. They want to build some new buildings there that's going to cost about $770 million. And of that, yeah, I know, a big number, right? But here's the kicker. Of that, about one-fifth of it is supposed to be covered by taxpayers.
Okay. And this is perceived, I'm assuming, by Clayton and Centene as some sort of an incentive to keep them here? Is that the threat?
Yeah. So that's the general argument here, is that if we throw them a bone, then it's more likely they're going to stay here. But the bottom line here is that this expansion it's somewhat excessive. If you really break it down and look at all the things that are going into this expansion,
okay,
you've got a couple office buildings, which obviously are necessary for employees, but you've got a parking structure coming in with apartments, you've got a hotel being built, you've got an auditorium for concerts and other events. It's almost ludicrous how many different things there are here when the argument is literally just to make room for employees.
Yeah. How long would it take the taxpayer to recoup their $150 million investment?
So some of the details haven't really been solidified thus far, but from the most recent proposal, which was for some build bonds to the state, because obviously this is covered both by economic development credits from the state and also from the city in Clayton, it's looking at probably around 15 years. And so the plan right now, what they're asking for, they haven't come out with a 100% exact number, but they're asking for roughly $100 million via property tax abatement in the city of Clayton. And they're hoping to put that towards building these new office buildings.
Wow. And have they worked that out to a per new employee cost? I mean, does that come out to $2.3 million for a new employee, or what kind of numbers are they promising in terms of new jobs? Do we know?
As far as new jobs go, they're estimating about 2,000 new jobs in the area, but that's new in quotation marks, because 1,000, about half of that is current employees for Centene that are just around the St. Louis area, around Missouri. They're going to be concentrated into Clayton, so they're not really new jobs coming to the area. And then the other 1,000 are supposed new jobs that'll be grown from the acquisition. And
these would be state tax dollars, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention. I mean, that's what we depend on the Show Me Institute to do, is to keep an eye and sort of be a watchdog on how our elected leaders are spending our money. And I'm glad to make people aware of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the question here is not really even what amount of money taxpayers should be offering. It's more whether these kind of incentives should be on the table at all. I mean, you look at Centene is a very rapidly growing company. I mean, they grew in 2015 about 35%. They're coming out at about $21 billion in revenue from last year. So they're not exactly hurting financially. And when you look at them wanting to develop in Clayton as well, things just don't necessarily add up. It's the trend that's been going on in the St. Louis area and around the state. It's the idea that incentives have been given out in the past, and so we should continue doing this. And their past thing from about 6 years ago, they received $22 million in incentives from the city, and now they're asking for almost 5 times that.
Yeah.
So people are looking at it more towards how things have been done, and they should look more towards how they should be done from here on out.
It's a good point. Michael Highsmith from the Show Me Institute. ShowMeInstitute.org is the website. You can go there and find out more about this tax deal of tax dollars for Centene right there on the website. Thank you.